WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, this evening. A man is indicted in an alleged attempted kidnapping in Tupelo.
A Lee County grand jury returned the indictment against Leon Moore Sr. He's charged with attempted kidnapping in connection with the July 4th incident. Moore is no longer in jail. Witnesses and investigators tell WCBI the reported incident happened in the 900 block of Mitchell Street. A silver Pontiac Grand Prix was allegedly used in that incident. Investigators were given a description of the man driving the car. The FBI also assisted Tupelo police in the case. Moore's case is scheduled to go to trial in February.
Two 17-year-olds are arrested in connection with the theft of 20 guns from a Columbus store. Quantre Antoine Miller is charged with burglary of a commercial building. The other suspect is being charged in youth court, and their name is not being released. Columbus police say the burglary happened on October 11th at K&S Outdoor on Highway 45. Miller was arrested October 12th in a Columbus home on 8th Avenue North. Investigators say he has previously been charged as an adult in another case. Lowndes County deputies, the Narcotics Task Force, and ATF assisted CPD in the ongoing investigation. An argument over a road rage incident in Aberdeen leads to a shooting that puts 3 people in the hospital. A short time ago, we learned 2 juveniles are in custody facing charges. About 6 Saturday evening, Monroe County deputies were called to a home in the 10,000 block of Robin Drive at the Quinn Maddox subdivision. Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says Ira Hammond and 2 juveniles went to the home looking for Dylan Pruitt after a road rage incident a few days prior. What started as an argument, Cantrell says, quickly turned into gunfire.
They went down there to give him a whipping, and they got in a fight, and the fight escalated with them drawing their guns and started shooting at them, at these people at this residence. So he returned fire.
Cantrell says the owner of the home isn't facing any charges at this time. A 3rd juvenile, Cantrell says, will be charged with aggravated assault once they're out of the hospital. Hammond, one of the juveniles, and a 23-year-old woman who was driving by were all shot. The sheriff says Hammond was shot in the throat during the shooting and is unable to speak. He hasn't been charged at this time. A teenager accused of waving a gun in front of a crowd of people is taken down by a security guard.
That man now faces charges of attempted aggravated assault. WCBI's Scott Martin has been looking into this incident. He joins us in the studio now with more.
Andre and Joey, 19-year-old Darius Orlando Harris of Columbus is who investigators have arrested for that crime at an event that was being held at the Plum Grove Community Center on Saturday. Investigators say Harris and another man came to the event and argued with a person collecting money there at the door. Harris then went to a vehicle and got an AR-15, according to deputies. Witnesses tell deputies that he raised the gun toward a crowd of adults and children. That's when a security guard hit him. Harris was knocked out and the gun was seized along with a fully loaded 30-round clip. Deputies say Harris and another man drove away from the scene. Lowndes County Recreation Department Manager Roger Short says the building was rented for a birthday dinner. The rental agreement took place when the Columbus Lowndes Recreation Authority was in charge of the building. Security isn't required when the buildings are rented. Detective Greg Wright says the FBI has been contacted about the incident. An ATF check is also being done to verify the purchase history of that gun. Investigators say the security guard possibly saved numerous lives. Deputies say the investigation is ongoing and that more charges could be added. Guys.
All right, Scott, thanks for that update. Justice Court judges in Lee County are making several proposals they say could save money when it comes to housing inmates at the jail.
The plans come weeks after supervisors voted against a new facility that would have meant a tax hike for residents. WCBI's Allie Martin has more.
Thank you. Lee County Justice Court Judge Chuck Hopkins believes ankle bracelets could monitor nonviolent offenders. Hopkins says it would cost about $4 a day to monitor inmates compared to $25 a day keeping them in jail.
There's a lot of studying to be done before we could just go and do it.
Hopkins and District 3 Judge Sadie Holland are trying to find ways to reduce the inmate count at the Lee County Jail and save money. County Attorney Gary Carnathan wants an opinion from the Mississippi Attorney General to see which offenders could wear the ankle monitors before moving forward. Hopkins says it would not be for every inmate.
Just keeping misdemeanor, we're talking about traffic violation people, misdemeanor crime people, no felons, no nothing like that. It's keeping misdemeanor, regular working class folks out of jail that got a ticket for a DUI or speeding or whatever,
Jail overcrowding is the primary reason Sheriff Jim Johnson proposed a new facility, but supervisors voted that down and asked for a new plan. Since then, the sheriff has let some inmates out on bond and reduced inmate numbers by refusing to house some prisoners from other municipalities. Johnson says all alternatives were studied before he asked for a new law enforcement facility. He says there are a lot of questions about the judge's proposal.
At what point are they looking at placing the ankle monitor on the individual? Is it at the point of arrest or is it the point of conviction? If it's at the point of conviction to where a person goes to justice court and they are sentenced to X amount of days in jail, that instead of them being in jail, then they're going to be wearing the ankle monitor. That's not a problem for me because we don't house those people. I don't have anybody in jail today that is sentenced by justice court.
Another option would create a work release program similar to the city of Tupelo's. Right now, inmates who are eligible to work their fines off stay here overnight at the work center. Judge Hopkins says allowing those inmates to go home every night while being monitored with ankle bracelets would save even more tax dollars. In Tupelo, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
And it could be a month before the county receives that Attorney General's opinion on the ankle bracelet monitoring proposal.
Alex Deaton, the man suspected of going on a fatal crime spree that spread across at least 3 states, has been sentenced for 2 of those crimes. Deaton is charged in Brandon with first-degree murder, auto theft, and a drive-by shooting. It's believed he strangled his girlfriend, stole her car, and shot a jogger back in February in Philadelphia. He's suspected of killing a woman. It's after these incidents that he's believed to have carjacked a New Mexico couple and fled to Arkansas. Deaton was eventually captured and sentenced to almost 13 years in prison, along with $4,000 in restitution. After reportedly shooting a store clerk, Deaton pled guilty this July to attempted first-degree murder and aggravated robbery. It's unknown when Deaton will return to Mississippi. Time for a first look at our forecast on this Monday. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Amanda Reynolds.
Well, out there, it's a gorgeous afternoon. You can see the sun setting over downtown Tupelo. Not a single cloud in the sky. Much different than where we were this time yesterday. Right now, 63 degrees. But again, we have that northerly breeze. And yesterday, we had that cold front come through. So we're quite a bit cooler than this time yesterday. Nearly 20 degrees in some areas. Will continue to be relatively cool right now. For the most part, everyone in the mid or upper 60s, but overnight tonight will drop down well into the 40s, around 45 for most of us, and some could even see the upper 30s. But I'll have your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
The trend of athletes kneeling during the national anthem has moved from the stadiums of the NFL to area high school football fields,
including Pickens County, where some high school football players took a knee during the national anthem before Friday night's kickoff in protest. Our Jory Talley joins us live in Lowndes County, where the issue is also being discussed.
A couple of Mississippi high schools have had student athletes kneel before their games across the state. Well, while not every school has had this incident take place, a school in Pickens County has, and they're looking to turn that incident into a teachable moment. And while Lowndes County have not had any student athletes take a kneel before the games here in the county, they have had an opponent come and play them, and the county is looking for ways to make sure that the players here in the county are not following in the footsteps of some of the pro athletes. The image of athletes kneeling during the national anthem remains in the national spotlight. Several Pickens County high school football players took a knee before Friday night's kickoff. WCBI was there and caught this video of players on the sideline.
We've been in contact with our local school administrators, and they are aware and plan to use this as an opportunity for a teachable moment with our student athletes involved with this situation.
Superintendent Jamie Chapman released a statement to WCBI expressing school leaders had already addressed the issue before Friday night's incident. He adds that he respects students' right to free speech. Although the Lowndes County School District has not dealt with such an incident yet, board members are looking into the possibility of drafting a resolution of policies so students and staff know what's expected of them at events.
It's something that will probably be out there in the future, modeled along with what the Mississippi High School Activities Association already has. We have statements that are read before the ball games about how people are expected to conduct themselves and according to the flag, the national anthem.
Superintendent Lynn Wright says he respects everyone's rights and opinions, but the district expects appropriate behavior.
There are reasonable expectations, there are reasonable requests made of our athletes, and we expect them to comply. We expect them to represent the school well, represent their family well, represent our district well, and represent our country.
He also wants students to understand the price people have paid for our flag and to respect our national anthem.
You have that right to get an education. Extracurricular activities, participating in football or participating in any sport is not guaranteed. A coach has a right to remove someone if they do not follow a reasonable request, or a directive from them. They can remove the player, they cannot allow a player to play.
Wright says if the possibility of a draft ever comes up, it might be something discussed in executive session. Other media outlets had reported that discussion might be brought up in tonight's board meeting, but Wright says that no discussion of that will be brought up. Reporting live in Lowndes County, Jory Talley, WCBI News.
All right, thanks, Jory. An area man gets notice for his good works, and his recognition will pay off for others.
We'll have his story when we come back.
WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. The head of an organization that provides rehabilitation services for clients across North Mississippi gets recognized for his impact on the community. Representatives from Modern Woodmen of America name Regional Rehab Center Executive Director Robbie Parman as a hometown hero. Modern Woodmen provides a cash award that the winner can give to the nonprofit of his choice.
It's a huge honor for me just to even be able to work here at the Regional Rehab Center and the everyday work that we're able to do. I'm just honored to be here.
Regional Rehab is a solid nonprofit here in the area. They have provided so much help and encouragement to people over the years.
And Parman will donate his award to Regional Rehab. Last year, more than 1,500 clients from 19 counties were served at the center.
Another beautiful sunny day tomorrow. We'll see temperatures climbing into the mid-70s, and again, finally, it's feeling like fall. Your full forecast right after the break.
Your first alert forecast with meteorologist Amanda Reynolds.
There's plenty of sunshine across the area this afternoon. You can see not a single cloud in the sky, but we've been a bit breezy. You can see the camera kind of bobbing a little bit with the winds, but right now not looking too bad out over Columbus. You can see the gorgeous, gorgeous sunset beginning to appear. Right now 64 degrees, but again we have those winds out of the north around 8 to 10 miles per hour across the area, but we're quite a bit cooler than we were this time yesterday. Most of us in the 60s, and most of us didn't get to the 70-degree mark today. So again, with that cold front that pushed through last night, many of us 15 to 20 degrees cooler than we were yesterday afternoon. So a little bit more of a fall-like feel to the air today. As we go forward over the next few hours, we'll drop down into the low 60s and then into the low 50s by the time we get to around midnight. But overnight tonight, going to be another chilly one, but another beautiful week of weather is in store, and we're finally getting our first taste of fall. And with that fall-like weather, we're going to see plenty of sunshine. So I mentioned the overnight lows for the most part going to be in the mid-40s, in even areas up further to the north, Corinth, Iuga, Tupelo, could even see some 30s. So Again, it's going to be a little bit chilly if you're heading out tonight, but again, we'll also have clear skies. We'll keep the clear skies through the day tomorrow as well. We'll start out in the low 40s or in the mid 40s and then eventually up into the mid 70s, but again, the sunshine not going anywhere over the next 7 days. So again, we're going to keep the sunshine around the high pressure, and it will feel very much like fall all the way through the weekend. So there's no really severe weather in our area, but if you want to get ahead of the game and make sure your weather radio is programmed, you can join Jacob Dickey over at Centers Hardware in Macon on Thursday from 12:30 to 3:30. Just get ready for severe weather season because it is coming. It's just around the corner, coming up in the later parts of October and November. So this is post-tropical storm Ophelia. So Ophelia hasn't gotten a whole lot of press in the U.S. because it's quite far away. You can see the low pressure system over by Ireland. So some pretty significant weather over there, and the storm just going to continue up towards Great Britain and the rest of the extreme northern parts of Europe over the next few days, but could bring some significant waves up to 35 feet for some parts of Ireland today and into the overnight. But here in our area, no weather worries. We're going to keep the sunshine, those highs in the mid 70s, those overnight lows in the mid 40s, but by the time we get to the weekend, we'll see some warmth, but Monday will bring our next chance for rain.
Former Ole Miss head coach Houston Nutt and the university put an end to their legal battle. More on the settlement next in sports.
WCDI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Houston Nutt versus Ole Miss has finally been put to an end. In a joint statement, Ole Miss and Nutt announced both parties have reached a settlement in Nutt's ongoing lawsuit against the football program and its athletics foundation. In the statement, Ole Miss apologized to Nutt for statements made by university employees that led to, quote, misleading media reports about Coach Nutt. The former Ole Miss head coach also said, in a quote, I am pleased to put the lawsuit behind me. Best wishes to the future of the Ole Miss football program, end quote. So while that lawsuit is behind them, Ole Miss prepares for a matchup at home against 24th ranked LSU. Interim head coach Matt Luke says momentum is finally swinging the Rebels' way and get a chance to pick up a big SEC win at home over a top 25 team. Luke says the important thing for his team is to start building from week to week.
It's a big game because it's the next game, and I think our challenge is to carry on the momentum of our last 6 quarters into the next game. But the challenge after a win is not let a win mask some of the mistakes you made. Continue to get better.
Saturday will also be a homecoming of sorts for former Ole Miss head coach Ed Orgeron. Orgeron will, of course, be on the opposite sideline wearing purple and yellow. Coach O even told ESPN's Chris Lowe that when he was on Ole Miss's sideline, he wished he was with LSU. The Tigers head coach says the game will not be about him.
This game is not about me. Again, I'll say this to you. I had a tremendous opportunity at Ole Miss. I didn't get it done. But the past is the past. This is way behind us. Me and my family have moved forward. I'm so happy to be an LSU Tiger. This is another SEC game. It's LSU Ole Miss. It means a lot. And it has nothing to do with me. This is about the team.
Mississippi State jumps back into SEC play this weekend against the Kentucky Wildcats. The Wildcats and the Bulldogs have become a yearly rivalry of late, which is weird scheduling quirk, being that both teams are in different divisions. Mullen says his team have met with South Alabama and Louisiana Tech more in the past 9 years than facing Vanderbilt and Tennessee combined. Mullen had an interesting take on what could happen with the conference scheduling.
You could do no divisions, and you have one permanent team that you play as a rival, or 2 permanent teams you play as a rival, then everybody else rotates, you get to play everybody. I don't know. I have my hands full, I guess, trying to get ready and try to win football games for us, not to figure out the mathematics of scheduling. But you can make arguments either way. I think people get worried about the loss of rivalries when you look at that possibly sometimes. So, but you know, you also miss out on the opportunity to play in a lot of different teams from the other side of the league.
Here is the lineup for coming up Saturday, Week 8. As we were just talking about, number 24 LSU goes to Oxford to take on Ole Miss, 6:15 p.m. on ESPN. Coach O might be able to go to the Exxon he was talking about, where he might be able to get the best chicken on the stick he's ever had. So Mississippi State taking on Kentucky at 3 p.m. on the SEC Network, and Tennessee at Alabama will be right here on WCBI at 2:30. I can't guarantee it's not going to be a dumpster fire, but hey, you never know. Anything can happen. Alabama and Tennessee could get ugly very fast, so we'll see. We'll just have to see.
Yeah.
Not much to say about that one.
That's a rocky situation on Rocky Top.
Rocky.
All right, see what I did there? All right, we'll be right back.
The fall-like weather is finally here. We're going to keep our temps in the 70s, and even when we warm up for the weekend, only going to be in the low 80s.
We've dreamed about this for a couple
We
months.
have. Definitely. Make it last.
All right, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.